How was that transition from like playing to coaching?
It was hard for me at first. I mean, I was fortunate to go right into the big leagues to be a coach. I didn't have to go into the minors. Rossi hired me to be the quality assurance, and man, it was hard at first. I took 1 year off. I had surgery that ended my career. I was gonna come back, and then I didn't, and then I got into coaching a year later, and I was like, man, I can still do this.
Yeah.
And you're watching people do stuff, and it wasn't until I let that go and it was like, all right, I'm done playing. I can't play anymore. Like everyone's like, oh, you want to make a comeback still? Because I'll be out there picking stuff. I'm like, nah, that ship has sailed. Like I have no interest in doing that. But once I gave it up, it's now I'm into coaching and really trying to help these young guys out, even whoever, get better on a daily basis. Like just be grinders and play as a team and just winning.
Napoli's a guy, Fort Lauderdale, Florida, my hometown, a guy that came back to my high school in his off seasons when you were signed with LA. Anybody, when you have a guy that's from your area in Fort Lauderdale and makes it to the big leagues and has success, you are immediately glued to the guy because it's your area. So always followed Nap, and then Nap would come to our high school. Vaughn Sturtzback, former teammate, was one of our assistant coaches. And Nap would always come work out, and he would always bring a couple bats with him and just leave the bats every single time. And it was so awesome, man. It was so cool. And Nap became an idol of mine that became a close friend. So first of all, thank you for that. And it's always motivating when that happens because you want to become that guy to leave the bats for the guys and, just look out for the generation younger to you. And you as a player, as a coach, have done that for not only South Florida, but for baseball. So, I mean, also at the highest level, nothing but winning, man. So first of all, thank you and welcome to our party, man.
Yeah, I mean, coming up, get into the minor leagues and you always come back, you want to give back to everybody, In our area, there's so many good baseball players, up and coming. So I love going to all the high schools and even my high school and just leaving stuff, getting to show these young kids like what a big league bat, what big league wood is. And, it was always something nice to do. You go, I remember going to watch you hit and Sturtzbach would be like, oh, he's the next up and coming. He's going to do it. He's going to be the man. And it was fun. It was fun going there and American Heritage, man.
American Heritage, baby.
That's cool that you had such a role model like that, like early on, because you became that guy for a lot of people. But like to have that in high school and see what Napoli did for you, like to go leave those bats is like, people don't realize how much that means to kids. A lot of kids aren't going to make it in the game of baseball because it's so hard to get there.
Right.
But to have such a great mentor at such a young age, it's like, damn, I want to do that when I get older. I want to leave some stuff for kids when I go hit at those high schools. It's super dope.
Yeah, man.
I was to say, when you were a kid, Nap, who were the players that you looked up to, that you idolized?
Oh man, I mean, in the big leagues, man, I loved Daryl Strawberry.
Oh,
His swing was just unbelievable. And I get to be by ED now, being over in Cincinnati. Eric Davis, loved him. And then when them two got together, it was just a dream. I just followed those two guys. And
dude, you went right to the Angels. I mean, you played with some of the game's best players all throughout your career, but immediately as a rookie with the Angels.
I mean, I had so many guys to learn from. I mean, Darren Erstad. This guy played so hard, was so intense. Just to be able to watch him on a daily basis was unbelievable. I had Tim Salmon, Vlad, Torrey Hunter. I mean, I had these guys, all these guys, Troy Gloss.
Yeah,
I mean,
Troy was there.
I had so many guys to learn from and just watch on a daily basis. Like, it helped me out so much as a younger player. Yeah.
Not many people know this, dude. I stink for bringing this up, dude. But that homer Manny hits and kind of puts his hands up.
I was catching.
You were catching, dude. But
was.
You played in so many big games, man. And I think that's one thing everyone that loves about Nap too, was you always came through in those big moments. And that's that South Florida pride. Is it just like when you're with the Angels, the young guy, are you just like, you see all these veteran guys and I'm like, man, I got to contribute to this team. I want to win. And that instantly gave you confidence individually, huh?
Yeah, I mean, you want to be a part of that. coming up in the Angels organization, you had to know how to play the game of baseball to get called up and to stay there. Because if you didn't, like, you're out, next guy up. So, I just tried to do my part, stay out of the way, follow certain guys around. They take you out, get on their good side, and they just leave you alone, and you're part of the team. So.
Is the game different now, like when a guy gets called up now and trying to be part of the club now versus back when you were playing? Like, in what way, what are the differences? Because you're still in the major league clubhouse.
Yeah, it's a lot different. I think it's because there's not a lot of veteran players anymore.
We always talk about that.
It's a lot of young guys pleasing, a lot of other young guys. Yeah. And it kind of gets lost of, like, doing your time to, be that veteran and then helping the young guy out, find his way so then he can do it for the next guys that come in.
So is that sort of your role now as a coach, to try and instill those sort of values into the younger generation?
Yeah, I got to be, now I'm with Tito. I have such an amazing relationship with him. I played for him in 2016. We went on a really crazy run, getting to the World Series. But man, I was in his office every single day playing cribbage. Yeah. We got to know each other really well. I was a veteran at the time, so I think he leaned on me, to, when he wanted something done, I can go be the voice and have guys, straighten up and stuff. So it's so awesome being around him. Yeah, in my role now, I think we have a really young, good athletic team. And from being on the other side with the Cubs, watching them, it looked like they just need some guidance in how to play together and how to play to win. From what I see now, it's just a lot of guys that are hungry for some guidance in how to go about their business. So yes. I'm just going to be pushing that. I'm all about winning. I'm all about fundamentals. So I'm just going to be pushing that, and I think we're going to surprise some people.
Yeah, it's also not easy to do, like, to become that guy that you are, to be able to have Tito call you in the office just to play cribbage first off, but then to be like that soundboard from, the manager's office to the players, to earn that trust first off from the manager, but then to have that trust from the players too. That's an interesting and hard thing to accomplish on both sides, because at the end of the day, you are one of the boys, but you are the guy that needs to keep some of these younger dudes in line on the player side of things.
What is it about Tito? I've never heard a single person in the whole game say a single bad word about Tito.
He's so genuine. Like, he's honest. He's a baseball rat. He loves the game. He wants people to do well. Like, it could be the usher, and he's cool to the usher. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's everybody. He's genuine. Trainers, everybody. He respects everybody. And I don't know. You can't really explain it. It's just, you have to be in his presence to understand it. He just getting up in a new group of guys in Cincy and speaking to them. You feel like what he's saying is true and what he wants out of everybody. So I don't know how to really explain it.
And you see that translate into the younger group as well? Because, he's been at this thing for as long as anybody that's still in the game. I'm wondering if the message still sits.
Yeah, I watch him on the bench and stuff. There hasn't been anything this guy hasn't seen on the baseball field, or, the stories he has. We just listen to him, and he's just really fun to be around. I think he gets the best out of everyone. So his presence is just cool to be around.
One thing that connects a team, man, it's so true what you said about the veterans, because the veterans, certain things has to come player to player, and they hold up a standard, how guys work, the routines, how the fundamentals, the clean baseball is being played, and that's got to be accountability player to player. And I think what you did also so well as a veteran player was your veteran leadership. And we always talk about how important it is, not only at the field, but away from the field as well, because some of the times the biggest development for a young player, those times can come off the field, because it's like when you're at the field, it's just, man, I'm getting hounded, the hitting coach, the bench coach, this guy, a teammate. But off the field, like you said, you've done so many things for younger guys, from living with you to whatever. Like, they feel like this guy's in my corner, he cares for me, and he's got my back, right?
Yeah, for sure. I love doing that. When a rookie would come up and be like, come with me. You're staying with me while you're up here. I'm gonna show you the way. You know, like I love doing that for young guys, and I think just being able to do that, bring in guys, whatever. You know, we go out, party, do whatever. You get to know each other. You know what I'm saying? You're at the field and we're all trying to battle. You don't really get to know that person, you know, but when you get away from the field, you go out to dinner. Shoot, 2013, we had 25 guys at a dinner.
So good.
We would go back to the hotel, big suite, all chill in the suite together. I mean, it was every road trip, man. We got to know each other. And I mean, that was something I love. I mean, obviously the party at Napoli thing, but like,
we've got to talk to Demp, Peavy we've seen, Johnny Gomes, and that 2013 team is, everybody brings that team up. Demp was telling us a story one night. You guys go to Times Square late night and he's just playing music, looking at all the stores, writing a song about Macy's, writing a song about
it was
whatever.
Crazy that some of the stuff we did that year, but man, we were so close. I mean, I think that just brought us closer together. You know, when we got to the field, we look at each other in the eyes and be like, let's go. You know, what we've been through. You know, we're going through the same thing. We're all hungover. Like, you know, let's get it today.
We're gonna get through this together.
Yes, dude. It was just press play. Just press play, baby. That was the motto.
We made shirts at All-Star break. I think it was 3 lines, two chains, and a duck boater championship. And we all had 3 lines in our hair. Papi with all his stuff in his hair, and we had chains everywhere. It was fun. We did that All-Star break. That's how confident we were.
Damn, man.
We knew we were gonna win it.
How did you guys all go about? You have this group, man. I mean, veteran guys that are known as some of the best dudes in the league, right? Some of the guys that are the most funniest, entertaining, but like Johnny Gomes, for a great example, when it's game time, he goes to work. How did you guys balance all that? Like, we're having fun, we're doing our thing, we're going to work. When Big Papi's there and he's a leader, was he right there in the middle with you guys, or was it this is Big Papi, he's ready to go to work every day with the boys too?
No, yeah, I mean, he chilled. It was he was the head of everything. You know what I'm saying? Everyone looked to him because he would go do things. He would say things like, I'm hitting a homer this at bat, you know, and like go up there and do it. And
It's
we're like,
incredible.
what? You know, but and then we had Pedroia.
Yeah.
One of my favorite teammates I've ever played with. And I mean, some of the things that would come out of his mouth, I mean, he's so witty, he talks like no other. I mean, he played like he was 6'8", 260.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that was his mentality. And I mean, he was at the field 12 o'clock unied up, ready to go every single day.
In case the game starts early.
Yeah. I mean, it was unbelievable. It was fun to play next to him. You know, I just started playing first base every day. He made my life so easy over there.
Dude.
Yeah.
Oh, man. And then, so that group, man, was so special, obviously. And then going to Texas, going to Cleveland, is it like, was it a veteran on the Angels that kind of taught you, hey man, like take these younger players under your wing, or?
Yeah, I mean, Adam Kennedy, I mean, he was my boy, man. I followed him everywhere. John Lackey. Yeah, we had some good times together. So, I mean, I followed those guys and they were into showing me the way to, you know, be professional and go about my business. So, and they always preach to me, like, when you get older, you're going to pass it on to the next younger guys coming up. So, I mean, I watched everything. I paid attention to everything and wanted to, you know, pass it along for sure.
What I love about when you go to different teams and you win at different teams, you start to pick up clues and patterns of winning teams. Yeah, there are a lot of differences. Yeah, rosters are constructed differently. There are a lot of differences, but there are some similarities. Based on your experience in the big leagues, both as a player and a coach, what are some of the character traits of winning teams based on what you've seen?
Yeah, I mean, I've never been on a team that won that hasn't gotten along with each other. You know what I'm saying? Like, everyone chilled together and genuinely loved each other and played for each other.
Can you generate that? Does that just organically happen, or is that something that takes effort? And how does that? Because I hear people say that. But
I that's what I try to do though, and that's what I talk about when you take people out and you get everyone to hang out. You get the Latins and, you know, the white guys to hang out. It's, you know, there's power in that. So like that's what I always wanted to do. Like I wanted to bring everyone together. So like that was a way for me to like, hey, you know, we're going here tonight. Everyone meet me here. We're all gonna hang out together, and you get to know each other and you know, create this bond. So you can trust this guy in the clubhouse, you know, and then you start playing for each other, you know. So
Yeah.
that's what it was for me. Like any team I went to, like I tried to bring everyone together so we would play together.
That's what it is. You want to feel as part of the group as quick as possible. And a lot of times people think it's having success on the field, and then it's like, all right, I feel like I've earned my stripes here. And you do have to do that, but at the same time, I think when that off the field stuff comes, it's just a different level of connection, and it's just different, I think. And I think that's when you go to the field the next day and you talk about those moments off the field, and I think naturally that brings you together and feels more like you're part of the group.
Yeah, absolutely. And then like you're building that trust, like you said, and there's something about when you're hitting, you know, there's a tight situation, big spot in the game. There's stress that gets taken off of you knowing that the guy behind you's got your back because of what we've been through the last couple months, all the times we've had off the field, on the bus, on the plane. It takes that little extra stress off you, and then it allows you to free up, relax, and get your job done, knowing that no matter what happens, my boy's behind me and he's coming through even if I fail.
I like that. And something that you actually said that's a really good point. When you have good camaraderie like that and good team chemistry like that, not only do you get along, but what you said it also gives you the ability to check your teammates too. Mm-hmm. When they're not holding the line and setting the standard that you have because you're close, you know you can go. Do you have any examples in your career where either a teammate checked you and kind of helped you get going or kicked, or where you had to do it for a young guy in your career?
Yeah, I mean, going back to what you're saying, like you have to create relationships to be able to have that hard conversation with people. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the whole point, because if I don't get to know a certain player and then he does something, I go up there and trying to straighten him out, like he's gonna be like, beat it. Like I'm not listening to you. You know, he's gonna think it's coming from a bad place. So like that was another reason why, you know, like you get to know these people so you can have those tough conversations when they need to check, you know, when you need to check them. So I can't really remember
or even anyone here, a time where
I feel like, you know, similar to both of what you guys said, to a positive note on that is same thing you said you and Johnny Gomes used to do. Moose and I, like when we're at the field doing the same work and like we got the same approach, it's when he's up, I'm learning from his at bat. We got the same approach, and I'm seeing, okay, Moose's approach is we're hunting heaters. We're laying off any kind of spin and we're hunting heaters. And then if Moose swings that spin, he comes back. It's like, hey man, come on, man. We gotta, you know, we said we're hunting heaters. And then on the positive, it's like when he lays off that spin, it's like, hell yeah, dude, I see you working. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it just brings you together, and you're learning at the same time as a player.
I think it's the accountability factor too, right? Like it doesn't matter if you're the first, for us, you know, in 14 to 15, it's the accountability factor. Like it didn't matter if you're the first player on the roster, the superstar, or 25. Like a guy that always held us, everybody in check. It didn't matter who you were, was Gerard Dyson. Mm-hmm. You could have been the highest paid player on the team, but if you didn't run a ball out or you didn't do the right thing, Rod would meet you on that top step and let you know. And like, because this guy's worked for everything he ever got in his life, so he took nothing for granted. And we came up in the minor leagues with this guy, so we built like trust and respect, and basically we're a family. But to have that accountability from the 25th man or, you know, the fourth outfielder to come up and have the confidence in order to check you up and be like, all right, Rod, you're right, man. You know, I'll do better next time. That's on me. Mm-hmm. And to have that ability throughout an entire clubhouse just makes it even that much better.
Yeah. I remember too, when we were in the Cubs, I would tell DK, I was like, he was the hitting coach, and I wanted to voice my plan to him because it eliminated any kind of second guessing. And I felt like if I voiced it, I was like, all right, I'm holding myself accountable. So there's something to that too, voicing that out and having a teammate or someone there to voice it to. So you know, second guess. True. What about now, Nap? Let me ask you this, man, because I definitely noticed towards the end of my career some frustration in, like, as far as the game, you know, getting away from some basic fundamentals and a lot of the numbers becoming a lot of part of the game. And, you know, guys that have done a lot of things in this game get really, really, you know, disrespected from certain people. And, you know, do you think Tito or how do you learn from Tito and guys like Wash with analytics and numbers, like, yes, you can use them to your benefit. Yes, you can, learn from it. How do you blend that to where we need to stick to those basic fundamentals of team baseball and then use all this information we have now to our benefit?
Yeah, I mean, I think you have to use the analytics, right? But you have to be able to play the game of baseball.
Mhm.
Like you have to be able to do the right things, like getting a guy over or having your B swing for a day because this guy is nasty on the mound, right? Like you can't just A swing all the time.
Yeah.
So like for me, like when I first started coaching, I was stubborn. I was like, what are these analytics? Like I know how to play the game of baseball.
Yeah.
Like for me, I think it all comes back to the same. They just speak a different language.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like I can look at those numbers now and be like, it's the same thing I'm talking about. I know this guy's underplaying.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
but I've grown to love the information, but I still think you need to be able to play the game of baseball
Yeah.
and teach the fundamentals. I mean,
Right.
to get a guy over and the team stuff, what do you do in an approach when you got a guy at third less than 2 outs?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like there's stuff to that. You can't just go up there and try to ace swing and put the ball in the air. Like it's not going to happen that
Yeah,
way.
Right.
especially with a team like the Reds now, going up against all these big market teams where you're facing the Dodgers and you got to try and run through them in the postseason. Like you have to do the fundamentals in order to win those games because obviously they got 26 superstars sitting over there and, being a smaller market, you have to get those things done. You have to invest in getting that guy over, getting the guy in with less than 2 outs from third base. And if you don't, they're just going to run all over you.
You see a lot of teams struggle in the postseason when they come up against an athletic team or a team that's willing to bunt or move a guy over, and they haven't done it all year. That's the biggest difference you do see when it almost becomes tournament baseball in a 5 and 7 game setting.
I
That's a
think
big
the
thing,
other
too.
way too, of when a guy can't get a bunt down.
Yeah.
You're asking a guy to get a bunt down that hasn't bunted all year.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like and then they lose a game. Or, we saw the Yankees game where he doesn't get over. Like
Yeah.
the fundamentals, like why aren't we doing this once a month just to keep it in their mind? Because this is what's going to help us win a championship, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Like
so
that's
true,
that's
man.
the stuff that you have to do. You got to get out there and do some PFPs. I know it's a long season, but
And that's
you
where
want to win or you want to
Yeah.
mess something up when it's
and that's where the
Exactly.
veterans come in. It's like, hey, listen, I know we don't want to do PFPs today, but this shit's going to help us in October or like with that one game that you might not have gotten over. We missed the playoffs by one game because you didn't get over and we lost. Like that's what's so crazy about baseball is the first game of the season matters just as much as the last one.
Yep.
And when you don't focus on every detail leading up to that and have every box checked, you're behind.
Yeah, teams like the Dodgers, you can't give them free 90 feet. You can't miss opportunities. You just can't give them outs. Like you have no chance against them. Is it too, like on the coaching end, is it more of, the analytics, you're equipped because a lot of these younger players, is that kind of like what their language is now in baseball because of minor leagues and all that?
I feel like it's turning a little bit because we're going back to guys not being able to get something done with this situation. You know what I'm saying? Like, to me, it's selfish baseball. Like, but they're also, this is what they get paid on. Like, up top, and everyone's like, hey, we're gonna pay a guy that can put the ball in the air all the time, hit it hard. You know what I'm saying? So homers, like, what do you think a young guy's gonna do? He's like, I want to get paid. I want to be set up for life. So they're gonna do those kind of things. So I think that's the tough part, is to be able to get in their minds that like, hey, if you do the right things, you're gonna hit 30 homers. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to do that all the time. Like, be true to yourself, play the game the right way. If you're good enough, your numbers are gonna be there. And that's what I think I preach all the time to these guys.
Dude, that's so true. Nobody talks about that because that situation of going out of the zone, making contact, getting that run in early, how it takes away from the player's salary and negotiation at the end of the day because your chase goes up, the exit velocity, RBI is considered a lucky stat. But at the end of the day, it's like, it's 2 aces on the mound. Win playoff baseball, we need that run. I need 1-0. You know what I mean? And then whoever my ace is, that changes his mentality. Nobody talks about that, dude. And I think that's so true, man. You hit that on the head.
Yeah. You know, saying you were saying something about if you're good enough, your numbers will be there. I remember in 2014, I was terrible. I mean, god awful, and I had never talked to Howie Kendrick before in my life. But we're out there in Anaheim, and Howie comes up to me. He's like, "Hey, Moose, you believe in yourself?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Okay, well, stop trying to hit 400 right now. Like, if you're good enough, your numbers are going to be there at the end of the year." I was like, "Wow, dude!" Like, to have somebody that I've never met before tell me that, I was like, "Holy shit, dude!" Like, you're right. I ended up still sucking, but like, but still, like, we made a deep postseason run, and then when postseason baseball came along, you know, I was unstoppable, like, because it wasn't about my numbers anymore. I was hitting 170, got up to 214, and I wasn't focused on that. I was focused on, all right, runner on second base. What do I got to do? I got to hit a ground ball to second base to get this guy over. And my entire mindset changed. It kind of took, like, my career ended up taking off after that year because it made me focus a lot more on the length of the season because it is so long.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think hitters too don't understand that, like, when they try to get someone over, like, gets them locked back in.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you're struggling and you're trying to get someone over and you're staying inside the baseball, you're letting it get deep. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then something clicks for you for some reason because you're doing the right things, your direction's right. You know? So, like,
simplifying.
Buying into that stuff, like, stick to the plan, stick to being a team guy, and you're going to get out of it, you know what I'm saying?
And then you get in the dugout and you're getting high fives.
Right.
Like, you're getting,
you feel better.
I was like,
Feel
wow,
so
dude. Like,
I remember Dale Swaim used to say, he was our hitting coach, and he was in Milwaukee with Prince Fielder, and he said Prince would identify pitchers whether or not he can go deep off him or not. And if he didn't think that, like, this is a guy I should really be trying to go deep off of, he went to that B swing, that shorter, just more compact, and he felt like that B swing would be the swing that would lock him in. So that's relatability. You only know that by, you know, going to the box 600 times, 500 times a year and having to bust that A swing out.
yeah. I got lucky because in 14, 15 was when the shift started happening. I was able to just use my B swing to get 2-3 hits. And then if I get a hit early on, it's like, oh, then I might be able to go pull side right
house
now.
money. Huh?
Yeah, so it's like,
House money, baby. Let's go.
I might be able to go pull side and clip somebody, but, you know, I was able to get those free knocks to the left side and then, boom, maybe bridge.
It's so cool to hear you guys talk about that. Someone might be listening to this, they're like, whoa, major league players have a B swing. They might have a different approach, and I think that's the sign of a master craftsman. Like, what tool am I going to use, depending on the pitcher, depending on how I feel, depending on, and so I just think that's a master who has the ability to show up with a different type of tool depending on a different variable. One thing that you were talking about, I think great coaches are directors of attention. They help players direct their attention to where it needs to go. I was working with a tennis player, and his tennis coach was telling me he was just struggling with a certain drill, and he wasn't able to hit the cone, and he was just starting to get more and more pissed off. And so the coach just said, forget about the cone. Like, I don't even care about the cone. We're just working your body. He goes, I just want you to focus on where the ball's hitting on the racket. Just feel where the ball's hitting on the racket. And he goes, don't even look where the ball goes. Just feel where the ball's hitting. And so he's hitting with the racket. He did cone. And the player didn't even realize he was doing it. He was just looking, and the coach looks at me and smiles, and I'm smiling. And then it was over. He goes, do you know how many times you were, like, hitting, because he knocked it over the first time, and then, but he just peppering it away. And the player was shocked. He goes, all I did was change your focus. And that's exactly what you were saying. Sometimes as a coach, you just got to change the player's focus. Yeah.
Baseball, I feel like you got to too,
Baseball.
man.
Now, what fires you up outside of baseball?
What fires me up?
Yeah. I mean, obviously baseball's your love language, but
Yeah, I think I have a new family now. My 2 little boys and my wife. Yeah, Frankie and Louie, man, they fire me up for sure. You know, just being around them and you know, going through my career being single, I always wanted a family. And I met my wife probably about 4.5, 5 years ago. And we have 2 lovely boys, man. They're 3 and 2, crazy as ever.
Awesome.
And, yeah, they're actually coming tomorrow, so I'm pretty
Nice.
excited about it.
It's the best, dude. When they get to see you in uniform and bring them out on the field, there's nothing better than that.
Yeah, I mean, I would love for them to grow up, you know, in the game and be in the clubhouse. You know, me coming up watching everyone's kids, in the
that's
clubhouse. I loved it, and
Yeah.
I was like, man, they're gonna grow up to be awesome. They get picked on. They
Yeah.
get they you know what I'm saying? Like they get tough quick.
So
You know, they
true.
get tough quick.
Oh,
yeah.
Yes.
How was that transition from like playing to coaching?
It was hard for me at first. You know, I mean, I was fortunate to go right into the big leagues to be a coach. I didn't have to go into the minors. You know, Rossi hired me to be the quality assurance, and man, it was hard at first. You know, I took 1 year off. I had surgery that ended my career. I was gonna come back, and then I didn't, and then I got into coaching a year later, and I was like, man, I can still do this.
Yeah.
And you're watching people do stuff, and it wasn't until I let that go and it was like, all right, I'm done playing. I can't play anymore. Like everyone's like, oh, you want to make a comeback still? Because I'll be out there picking stuff, you know. I'm like, nah, that ship has sailed. Like I have no interest in doing that. But once I gave it up, you know, it's now I'm into coaching and really trying to help these young guys out, even, you know, whoever, you know, get better on a daily basis. Like just be grinders and you know, play as a team and just winning.
Yeah, I don't think people realize how fortunate they are to like have you in the locker room, man. It's just like a winner, a grinder, a guy that gave it everything he had, loves the game. Like that's just something special that you don't get that everywhere. You don't get guys like you in every major league clubhouse.
Yeah, young players got to take advantage of that stuff, man.
You know, and you know me, I'm pretty chill, quiet person. I say stuff when I need to, but I could see some of the guys kind of gravitating to me already, and it's going to be exciting. I'm looking forward to it. You know, I'm still building those relationships so I can have conversations with these guys and so they can trust me, you know, getting to know them guys.
Dude, how about I got to ask you, man, going back to the playing career again, because you were a guy, like you said, single the whole time throughout your career. Like you put all your focus into baseball, man. So and I swear I wouldn't have asked you this unless you ended up winning one, but with Texas, literally coming one strike away from the World Series, man. Like I can see it in your face, and I feel like an asshole for asking.
No,
We went through it too.
But like, just explain the mindset of that feeling and how like motivating it is that off season to work and forever to like get one, right, to win.
Once I got over being depressed for about a month, it was bad. It was probably. I mean, I was drinking every single day. Like, it was so depressing because we were twice. We were striking away twice from winning a World Series. You know, Texas hadn't won a World Series ever, right? So, I mean, it could have been the first one in that city. But once I, you know, got through that period, I was back on the grind, like ready to go. The next year, we were first in the division, kind of blew it at the end again, and then we lost like the one-game playoff. So then it was pretty tough. But then getting to Boston, you know what I'm saying? Like,
unbelievable.
That 13 team was insane. You know, a lot of people don't know that I was a free agent and signed a 3-year contract, but with Boston, and it got wiped away because I had AVN in my hips.
I do remember.
I had like a torn labrum in my hips. Went and got MRI, and they found AVN in my hips, and they were like, no, we're just going to give you a 1-year deal for like $5 million. And I signed a 3 for $39. Oh. So then now it was like, so then I was like, you know what? Like, I'm asymptomatic. Like, it didn't hurt. They took it easy on me in spring training, and I just got after it and had a really good year that year. So
locked in.
Yeah.
I remember you got traded to Toronto, but then traded again right away, right?
Yeah, well, I was in Anaheim, got traded to Toronto. Like 5 days later, they flipped me to Texas. I think Anaheim didn't want to trade me to Texas, so then
in the division. Got it. There was Moose was saying, dude, I gotta ask him about the Boston picture of him out there with the cigarette.
Iconic, dude.
We clinched. And then my birthday was the next day. Okay. I mean, it was just a show.
Perfect.
But I had my family. I had everyone following. We were going bar to bar. I was bartending. It was crazy. Spraying people with the gun. It was nuts. And then smoking a dart, you know.
Sometimes you need one too.
Boys, you know what I mean?
Shirt was off. It was a good time.
Yeah. Dude, but and I hope you're okay with this telling the story. One of the most iconic stories amongst big league players is when you were in Cleveland at FanFest before becoming an actual, before even playing a game in Cleveland. So if you would tell the story, that'd be epic.
Yeah, it was winter weekend. You know, go out with the boys. We had dinner. You know, I was getting back to the hotel and I'm like, man, let me run over to I think it's a Jack.
Yeah, the Jack.
The Jack Casino now. I took like 10 grand over there. You know, I was having a couple drinks and then I got to the casino. It was like 2:30 and like, no, we're not serving alcohol anymore. And I'm like, what? I lost. I need a drink when I'm playing some blackjack. You know, like what's going on? And I'm like, so I start playing. I lose 10 grand in like 5 minutes. Oh my God. I'm like, you know what? I'm staying here till 5:30 till I can get a drink. I go back to the cage. I get like 20 grand and come back. And like 2 hours later, I have like 200 grand in front of me. Like, this is insane, right? I got up to probably like $900,000 in front of me. 14 straight hours. Tito called me. I missed every appearance, everything. and Tito's like, hey man, you're on a heater, stay. Like, I don't care, whatever.
Francona says stay, dude.
He's like, hey, you're on a heater. This doesn't happen often. Like, go, you're good. So
Oh my God.
I walked out with like 600 grand.
That's
And
unbelievable.
they were apparently making like Facebook groups because you were tipping out everybody
Yeah,
so
I mean,
much, all that.
I talked to somebody and they were like, man, everybody in the casino walked away with like 3 extra grand in their paycheck.
That's awesome.
It was just boxes of $1,000 chips. Because I was paying 10 grand, 1 grand up top.
Wow.
So every time I won, they won 2 grand.
Oh,
Legend, dude.
legend, dude.
Crazy
God.
story.
I tell you what, Moose won you won a couple thousand there, nowhere near as much as you,
Yeah.
and it took us about 7 hours to get
Yeah, I
out.
couldn't imagine cashing out at
I
that
couldn't even
cage. I won
imagine.
like 22.
Yeah.
And I was just putting chips on, and then I just pulled out all the chips in my pocket. I was like, oh, like that's all right, great. Go to the cage to cash out. It took like 3 hours. Couldn't imagine how long it took for that.
Great. Now I'm at the IRS.
Yeah.
We can cut all of this too. We can cut it all.
I'm hoping it goes viral.
No,
man.
it's all-
I'll send you a little check. Cleveland, dude, so last thing, Cleveland, that had to have been such a cool stop for you, man, being a veteran player. I mean, I'm sure leaving that Red Sox team, I don't know if you, like, as a player, it's got to be like, damn, I don't know if I'm ever going to get a group like this again. But that Cleveland group, it seemed like you guys had so much fun. I mean, Jose Ramirez, superstar player no one really talks about. They had the party at Napoli deal.
Kip,
Santana,
Lindor.
All these
Lindor.
guys.
Lindor.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I mean, there was
With Francona too, had been a
with
blast.
Francona.
You guys
yeah.
went 22 in a row. I think we were in town.
That was I think that was the following year.
That was
17, okay.
17, yeah. That was the following year. But yeah, we had a great group. I mean, it's Kluber.
Yeah, staff was incredible.
You know what I'm saying?
Jeez.
Like
God.
Carrasco.
Oh, man.
These
How
guys
much-
were.
How about how much did you learn from Tito? Because I specifically remember watching you guys clinch against Toronto, and you were on the bench next to Tito, and it reminded me of Bobby Cox and his bench coach, but minus the shakes.
Yeah.
Because Tito was just there, super stoic, and you were right there, and then all of a sudden, like, it was the whole game, and the last out was made, and then it was like, boom.
Yeah.
So I'm sure you learned so much from Tito too there.
Yeah, I mean, those situations, I mean, your anxiety is off the charts.
Oh, my
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just crazy moments. So, I mean, just watching him, like, it made me feel better being by him. And I think he would say the same thing about me. Like, we helped each other out in those situations. So, I remember when we clinched, we would give each other the biggest hug. He has a picture of it, actually. There's him or me bear hugging him, picking him up. You know, it's just
That's amazing,
Yeah,
dude.
he's a special person to me, and I'm so happy to be with him.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I want to manage.
Yeah.
I was going to ask
So
you.
I want to manage. So I think the best thing was to, get out of Chicago and be with him to be able to learn on a daily basis
Oh,
from him.
I mean, there's
I
not
can't wait.
there's not many
No
better
way.
in the league to learn from, right? Like
Right.
this guy's one of the best
He's a
managers.
legend. And then also the legendary cribbage games. I feel like I've heard a lot of players in his
Yeah.
office playing that. You've done that. You guys
Yeah, we
run that back?
already started. We already started. He
It's
loves
interesting
it.
you say you want to manage. What's fascinating about baseball managers versus NFL head coaches versus NBA coaches, a lot of X's and O's with those different sports. But a manager, it's almost like you have your manager and then the hitting coach does his thing, pitching coach does his thing. You have people do their different things. It's almost like a CEO of a company instead. With all of your experience as a player with managers and as a coach with different managers, what have you seen as like important kind of character traits of a manager? What makes a good manager good?
Yeah, I mean, being honest, letting people know what you expect out of them. You know, like just like Tito does. You know, he lets everyone know that like we're gonna play hard around here. Like if you're not, like you're gonna beat it. You know what I'm saying? Like we're gonna be one group, you know, all together and play the game the right way, respect the game. So I think the number one thing you could do is the communication and being really honest with people. You know, you're gonna have some tough conversations. I mean, we've seen it, how many guys go up and down.
Yeah.
You know how terrible that conversation has to be?
God.
But that goes back to getting to know people and, you know, showing that you care about these guys. So,
and that honesty, man, that I can
always
speak
talk about
on this. It's so big, man. And in my opinion, again, dude, like I think that honesty is not really, it's not happening in the league right now, a majority of the places. And there's guys like Tito, baseball lifers that surround you, him with people like yourself, because you have to rely on your staff to go out there. You can't, you know, be everywhere all the time. So that's where, you know, I really do for baseball. I hope that they continue to hire guys that played in the game. And it's not saying that the information is bad. Again, we can understand that language and then figure out how that translates to our language. But at the end of the day, you have to be relatable. You have to be in those situations. And like you're saying, to be in front of 50,000 people and the whole world's watching, and you're just standing here like this with, you know, Tito, that's experience, and you've been through some stuff. And I don't think a lot of managers now, honestly, man, a majority of the league, I don't feel like that's a thing. And I really do hope baseball gets back to that.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, like I want to play for a guy like you, a guy that has done it, has been there, has been in my shoes, knows what I'm going through, knows the struggles I'm dealing with right now when I'm not playing at my best, that can relate to me and maybe get me out of that hole that I'm in right now. And, you know, the guys that have like towed the box with me, I'm like, okay, this guy can feel what I'm feeling. How can he help me, or how can I help him get out of that, you know, slump that he's in? Maybe it's just a pat on the back. Maybe it's like, hey, you're fine, dude. Don't worry about it. Like, you're going to play third base every day for the rest of the season. But not having that feel, not having that ability that is, you've been between those lines, really makes a difference, I think.
Who was a manager that did that for you when you played?
Ned did it a lot. Counts did it a lot. I mean, everybody I've played with played baseball for the most part.
For me, one thing I respected about Ned, especially towards the later end of my career, was Ned hired all his assistant coaches with full trust of, if you're the pitching coach, you're doing pitching. If you're doing base running, you're doing base running. And Ned was with the Braves all those years with nothing but winning surrounding him.
Yeah.
So winning, like, he knew what it looked like. So like yourself, it's like you've been around, okay, bullpen. I've never been in the bullpen before. I don't know what that looks like, but think of all the teams he's played on and all the guys he's played with. So it's like, okay, go to the Rolodex. Who are we going to go handle the bullpen? You know what I mean? It's pitching. It's Johnny Gomes, David Ross. Like, you guys have been through all these moments. It blows my mind sometimes that, like, the baseball world got to a place where we feel like some of these former players aren't equipped enough because of the analytics. But I really do feel like once Texas won with Bochy, when CY went over there, I feel like that trend is coming back in the opposite direction.
To answer also, you know, what happened for me was in 14 when I was playing like Ned goes.
I can feel the anger.
I'm still mad at it. But Ned goes in the media. He didn't even say it to me. He said to me, he's like, Moose is my third baseman. You just don't find third baseman on trees. Like, this is my guy. And like, I saw it. I was like, oh, I am his third baseman. Like, I don't need to worry about losing my job. I just got to go out and do what I need to do.
And another thing as well, Ned had that confidence to be able to say that. There's a lot of guys, man, and I hate to bring it up again, but there's a lot of managers now that don't really have that confidence. And to be able to have a resume in this game, whether it's playing, whether it's managing, I just feel like you have to be able to have the confidence to a player and say, hey, listen, man, like, this is what we need out of you, and this is the truth. And I feel like because of that situation of maybe not having the resume, or, you know, jumping up to a position from, you know, skipping multiple steps to jump to get to that position, I feel like is why some of them don't have that type of confidence.
Yeah, and then even to go further, it's like walking into the clubhouse, knowing your name is penciled in every single time. Like, there's times throughout the year where you don't even look at the lineup. You just walk in knowing, hey, I know I'm playing first base, hitting fourth. Like, I don't need to look at the lineup. It's a done deal. And knowing that confidence that Skip has in you, unbelievable.
That's kind of what you hope it gets to. Like in the bullpen, you should almost know when it's your situation to go in without the phone ringing, right?
The minute there's established roles in the bullpen and everybody knows what their job is, it just changes the whole atmosphere out there.
What about from a bullpen aspect? Because like again, if I were to want to manage and hire a bullpen coach and work a bullpen, I wouldn't know anything about it. But I do hear like a lot of the relievers talk about the terminology dry humped.
Yeah.
It's like, what is that and how that's basically them warming up, not getting in the game, but it's that big of a deal, huh?
The best managers in the world are the ones that can control a bullpen and manage a bullpen and know that exactly. There was a year in 2009, I think it was, where I swear to God, Eric O'Flaherty and I would have warmed up 120 times out of 160 games, but only pitched in 70 or whatever it was. But the best in the business are able to manage not only the games that you pitch in, but also your workload in between and how many times you've actually gotten up.
I kind of think, in my personal opinion, catchers do make the best managers because they see everything that's going on. They see the bullpen, they see the whole game. They're in charge of, pitch selection, pitch calls. And for me, that's just in my general mindset.
Yeah.
Like,
I feel like, catchers, I mean, they've seen everything.
Yes.
They know everything about the game.
They're getting so much
saying?
information from everywhere. It's the running game, it's the pitch calling, it's everything.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I was with Kevin Cash for 5 years. And so that just seeing how he was able to communicate with pitchers, communicate with position players. And obviously Kevin, you probably know Cashy. Just Cashy is Cashy. He's
I've played with
just
Cashy.
an elite human himself.
Allegedly, he was part of that cribbage game as well. Yeah. Not with you, but Tito at some point.
He definitely played it. But going back to that, I think that's what Tito does well too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he started the whole Andrew Miller multiple inning reliever.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
absolutely.
He knows how to manage a bullpen. And
I remember when you guys got him because it was like, damn, is Cody Allen is he gonna be the closer? This guy's about to break the franchise record. What are they gonna do with Miller? And then Miller started coming in the fifth inning, Brad got pitched in the eighth, and I'm like, what the fuck?
Tito saw trouble. He's like, get the lefty. That was for sure.
You know what, man, too? It's like, I feel like a big deal with not having the experience. A big trend in the game now is a lot of these younger guys are getting substantial contracts, right? And I feel like what people don't recognize is when these guys get that type of contract, you have to understand they now become the guys in the clubhouse. They become leaders. So not only are you trying to sign talent, but you're trying to set the culture. And when you give that guy that money, that is setting the culture because naturally there's going to be guys that gravitate towards him. And if he's not doing stuff the right way, and if he's not preparing the right way, those guys are going to think as well that they're not. When you look at like Kansas City and a guy like Bobby Witt Jr., like this guy checks all the boxes.
Yeah.
He's a stud. I feel more than comfortable doing that. But I think another big thing of weeding these veteran guys out and then maybe paying some of these younger guys that don't have that mental game as Bobby Witt Jr., that's when the clubhouse, that culture can get a little dicey at times too.
Yeah.
All right, last one. The party at Naps, dude, that was such a bad charity. You raised so much money and everything about that. I still have my shirt. It's fucking way too tight now. I'm going to be back in it at some point, but what was it? You guys raised a bunch of money.
Yeah, it was cool. So, it was the beginning of the year, and then there was a guy down right field line, a huge sign that says "Party at Napoli." I'm like, don't blow me in right now. Like, they're all gonna act cool. Front office, everyone's gonna know that I party. And he came down. I met him. He gave me a shirt. I think it was a red shirt, Party at Napoli shirt. And he's like, hey, can we sell these? And I'm like, yeah, let's do it for charity. Let's make some money out of it. And we end up, I think, making like $200,000.
Wow.
To the Children's Hospital.
That's awesome.
Amazing.
Throughout that whole, I was sending shirts to everybody.
Yeah, man, that was awesome.
It was a cool moment for sure.
Dude, depending on what city, when you get that managing job, I'm ready, bro.